2, 1. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Josh Schoenly, and I've got a fellow EXP agent, Matt Armstrong, with me here. We're going to do a little case study. Actually, this is going to be 2 parts. Case study where he's going to talk a little bit about his early results with the selective sequencing system and what we've set up for him. And then we're actually going to dive into his KV core and take a look at some of the conversations that have been happening and see what or how we can maybe optimize that and keep the conversation going and turn more of those conversations into appointments or whatever the next step, logical next step in the conversation might be. So Matt, welcome, and thanks for volunteering to do this.
Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. So I guess first, maybe if you could just take 30 seconds or a minute and talk about the results you've gotten so far early on, and maybe compare that to some of the other things that you've tried either recently or in the past. And you don't have to name any names
Sure.
of other programs,
Right.
but just compare kind of what you've seen so far versus other items or other things you've tried.
I went in and I counted the leads this morning. I think it's around 40,
Okay.
and they keep coming. The big difference between your program and anything else I've tried is that I'm actually getting responses back from the leads.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's okay to, I've had, you get a bunch of leads, but then there's no conversation. There's no, you call, they don't want to talk to you. You send
Great.
text messages, they blow you
Yeah.
off. Your stuff has been very engaging. I'm getting more text messages, way more than I expected. And it's almost like you have to be like looking for them because, you could miss a lot of messages because there's so many coming.
Yeah.
So I would say
I'll show you in KV Core how to make sure that doesn't happen. There's not 100% foolproof, but at least can address that a little bit. And just for context, if you are watching this, I don't know when you may be watching this, but we've had his campaign running for about a week or maybe a little over a week now, I think.
I think it's less than a week.
And okay, so let's say 6 or 7 days, because I think it was last Monday maybe, but regardless. And this is also, the time of this recording, it's Christmas week. So it's December and very close to Christmas, just for context. So I'm glad to hear that you're getting good results so far. I think we can do some things to improve those results. And so let's go ahead and share the screen here and take a look at what is going on. So we're in KV Core, and this is what the dashboard looks like. And you can see there are a number of conversations here. And one thing I noticed, now Matt had sent me some of the conversations that had happened. He sent me some screenshots. And one thing I think that maybe could be hurting the results is I think you're trying too quickly to get them into a call. What's that?
Nobody wants to be on a call.
Right.
I tried.
So let's take, for example, here, this one. I don't know. This one literally just came in a few minutes ago. So this fella, this is a new lead or newer lead, came in over the weekend and said they're looking for a single family. And they haven't replied to any of the other. Oh, okay. They did reply also, looking in Hamilton County. Now, a question, and I just see that I'll have to get with Mike. What's funny is I noticed we have an issue in the one script, which will get fixed up. But how are your school systems in Hamilton County? Is it one school system or is it?
There's multiple.
Okay.
It's
right.
They're probably near there's probably 5 or 6, and they're near the top, as far as desirability in Indiana.
Okay, so there are 5 or 6 school districts within the county. So here's what we're going to do. He says he wants a single family. We're going to reply back and just say, right on, how many beds and baths? Is there a specific school district in Hamilton County you're looking to be in. Now, I will say that generally speaking, best practice is to simply ask one question. One question. This is the only time that I break that is if we are clarifying a little bit about the type of property they're looking for. So for example, if this person had replied with what school district they were looking for on the text that had came in previously, then I would have said, got it. How many beds and baths, single family or townhome? But what they replied to was the single family. So I want to try and clarify beds and baths and what school district. Okay. Then the next line of questioning would be, they respond back. Let's say they respond back and they say, 4 bed, 2.5 bath in this school district. I would say, great, got it. Something along those lines. You always want to do something to affirm or confirm that you've heard what they've said, even though hearing them is through text. And then I would ask, do you have a particular price range that you're looking to stay around? That's it. One question back to them. Let's say they respond to that and they say, yeah, we're looking to be between 300,000 and 400,000. Next question would be, when are you thinking about making a move? Again, but we would confirm, I got it, or gotcha, or right on, thanks. When are you thinking about making a move? And then once you've gotten that data, that's when we make a transition. And that's when I would say, okay, I'm going to set you up on our custom priority alerts. And you'll start getting properties that fit the criteria that we talked about. Your next best steps are blank. And that may be any number of blank. In most cases, what I transition your next best step would be to connect them to a mortgage, a lending partner. I forgot one step in that. I would also ask, so this is a back and forth. And the reason why we strategically do one question back and forth is the more we do that, every time that Ricky, in this case, responds, it's a micro commitment. And every time he replies back, we're building relationship and rapport with him in mass. And the more time Ricky invests into this conversation, the less likely Ricky is to go out and work with somebody else. So we're building a bond, a relationship, and building a fence around this opportunity to work with this person. Okay, so the important questions, and there's a sequence to it, would be, what area? Okay, and that might be a school district, town, whatever. Number 2, how many beds and baths, single family or townhome? Price range? When are you looking at making a move? And then after we've gotten them thinking about and talking about their dream home, then we bring in the financial. Okay, so I forgot this in my first example. And you can ask it one of 2 ways. You can be very blunt and say, terrific. Let's say they told you that they're looking to move in the next 1 to 3 months. Terrific. Are you currently working with a lender? You can go very direct, or you can go a little indirect and say, terrific. Do you have a family or do you have a friend or family member in the mortgage business? Right? It's a little softer. Okay. And regardless of their answer, we can transition to the next thing, which is the custom alert. Okay, I'm gonna set you up on priority custom, a custom priority alert, right? Where it's a custom because we're customizing it to what they're looking for, and people like custom and priority; those are powerful words. And then if they don't have a lender that they're working with, and most won't, that's when you transition to, okay, our next best steps are this XYZ. And that would be to connect them with your lending partner. Another great way to transition into the lending conversation would be, would you like information about the special financing programs we have available right now? Would you like information about the special financing programs we have available right now? And that may be that could be any number of things. FHA financing, that's a special financing program. USDA financing, which I don't know if anywhere in Hamilton County would qualify for USDA, but that could be a special financing program. There's special financing programs with one of the lenders that I work with right now for doctors where they can get a loan of up to $1.3 million with zero down payment, right? That's a special financing program. VA financing, special financing program. So keeping the questions singular and keeping the conversation going back and forth. Now, obviously, the sooner you can reply and keep the engagement going, the better. But the nice thing here is this isn't like portal leads from Zillow or Realtor or other portals where if you don't respond to them, like somebody else is chasing them down, right? You're fishing in your own pond, right? We're catching them. We're getting these folks upstream in the process a little bit, so we don't have that bloodbath of everybody fighting for the same people. And so it is important to be timely with these responses, but if you can't immediately get back to them, it's not the end of the world. So I dumped a whole lot on you there, Matt. Do you have any questions? And let's take a pick. Let's take a quick look at some of the others. So this one just said Hamilton County, any of the above. This one also came in within the hour. So she said townhome or single family. So we'll say, got it. How many beds and baths are you looking for? We'll just leave it at that one singular question there. You're making it easy for them to respond back and forth. Keep the combo going. Respond back and forth. Keep the combo going. Let's see if we can find one or two of these that.
That should be a good one. The great thing about your system.
Yeah, go ahead.
The great thing about your system is that, if I don't necessarily respond, the text messages keep coming, and it seems like you've got it down to where the questions are simple enough. You get a lot of responses. I'm guessing I probably have 40 to 50% response rate on the number of leads I have.
So at least So I hope those watching this, 40 to 50% of the people are engaging in some way, shape, or form. And my guess is for most of you listening, that is drastically different than any other type of online lead gen you've done in the past. So this is a great conversation. Thankfully, you didn't lose her here. Okay. And it's not that we don't want to have that as an opportunity for them to schedule a call, but I would frame this differently. Instead of can we schedule a call, you could say, would you like to schedule a call tomorrow so that we can set you up on a custom priority alerts or custom search? But can we schedule a call just sounds and feels a lot different than would you like to? And one of the key components that we've found that drastically increases the success rate of this system is making it as easy as possible for the prospect to take the next step in the process. In other words, I think what too many real estate agents try to do is they force the prospect to take the next desired step that we'd like them to take versus allowing them to choose their own adventure.
Exactly.
And so that might be scheduling a call. That might be starting a mortgage application. That might just be a text conversation like this. It might be a conversation that happens through email. There's any number of ways that can go, but the easier we make it for them to do that, the more we can remove the friction in the process, the better off we are. And what I have found, and my experience this year, is that I've actually closed a ton of transactions where I never even talked to them on the phone. All of our conversations happen through text, email, or in some cases just through Facebook Messenger. And obviously we met in person at some point, although I've actually closed a couple where I never met the client in person. And so, you know, that can all happen, but that only happens if you remove the friction. Now, the other thing I'm going to challenge you and anyone listening is once you start having these personal interactions with them, if you can start to layer on personal video messages, whether it's BombBomb or Core Video through KB Core, that is only going to increase your likelihood of success. And so, yeah, I mean, looking through here, there is a ton of conversations back and forth. I look, what's that?
Take a look at that Samantha Walker. That was like a 15 or 20 text conversation.
Yeah, look at that. That's great.
I even said, do you want to see houses this week? I'm assuming it's Christmas and you don't. And she came back and said yes. But then I made the mistake of calling her. She didn't answer, but we kept texting back and forth. So at this point, I'm not going to call anybody.
Here's when I call. I call when they ask me or they schedule.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I do.
And my experience is more often than not, at least with this methodology, is when you call too soon, you end up chasing people off.
Yep.
And you're not trying to, because the reality is you really are just trying to figure out how you can best help and serve them. But you want to keep them on the channel that they're on for as long as possible, until really the only logical next step would be to change the channel. And in some cases, you don't have to. I've scheduled tons of showing appointments where we just stayed on the channel that we were on the whole time, whether it was text or email or Facebook Messenger, and all of that, you know, and it works out in the end. And in fact, you know, the prospect appreciates that, right? Because they feel like they're kind of in control of the process, but you're still, you know, you're not in control, but you're allowing it to, you're making it easier on them, and they appreciate that. That is a big deal. Versus when we try to hard sell and we're chasing after them, it creates this friction that doesn't need to be there. So really good stuff, Matt. Any other thoughts or questions or, points that might be valuable to anyone watching or wondering, or even specific to what's been coming through for you?
Do you go into Facebook and try to add them as friends?
I do not.
Okay.
Nope.
So how do you do the messenger then? You're just sending them direct messages, or?
Well, so we have another campaign type that is a messenger specific methodology. Okay. That's kind of a separate campaign, but it follows the same principles and best practices.
Okay.
And that may be the one, if or when you're ready for even more opportunity, that may be another avenue to explore is building out on Messenger, because it's just another channel, right?
Right.
And the cool thing about Messenger is texting inside of Facebook. I mean, it's the same right. thing. They even look the same. And so we've got a process and a system around that too, where the principles are the same, the framework is the same. It's just that instead of sending them into KV Core in our example, we're keeping them in Messenger, and all of the interaction is happening there until we get to a point where we can set them up on a custom
right
search alert, and then we can that's a logical next step to get their information to do that.
Is it are you just sending new construction homes, or are you going like back, say, 5 years? Maybe so like 2015?
The default, or the I guess the default alert that everybody gets is just new construction. However, one of the follow-up questions that we weave in is asking, and I don't know, you may have not had any prospects get to this point yet, but we actually ask that question. Are you only looking for new construction, or would you also be open to newer homes that are 5 years old or less? And so just another it's just another way to get into conversation and unpack more of what they're looking for. Because the reality is, a majority of the clients that come through this process aren't actually going to buy a new construction.
Sure.
Now some of them do, and that's great. New construction is just, what we're using to get them in the top of the pipeline. And then the scripting is how we work them down through.
Yeah, it's working like wildfire for sure. So
right on. Well, I'm excited to see that, and you'll definitely have to keep me posted, and we'll keep looking at ways that we can optimize and keep things flowing for you.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Matt. If you're watching and you have any questions or you'd like more information about selective sequencing, you can go to selectivesequencing.com. Thanks for checking this out, and hopefully we'll chat soon.